Hey everybody,
What's up, guys?
welcome to the IronTrap podcast, coming at you weekly.
Yes, sir.
We've been doing these for a little while now. I feel like we have a little bit of a rhythm. We're not doing as many guests. There's some ASMR moon panting. He wants my water bottle. No, come on, go lay down.
Come on,
with
Dad.
special uninvited guest,
Yes.
Moon Dog.
We don't need guests. We got Moon.
We
Right,
got
bud?
Moon Dog. So, yeah, so we're, if you haven't subscribed,
Yes.
this is already going off track. Yeah, so we
You can listen to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music,
Help me out here.
or you can watch it on YouTube itself. There is a video if you'd like to look at our ugly mugs and Moon's wagging tail currently.
yeah, maybe his ball sack.
Yeah.
We may have to
Blur that out.
Yeah, clear some of that out. But yeah, so we have a lot. This time of year is really crazy. Moon, come on, enough. Lay down. Jeez, man, lay down.
And if the camera moves, we apologize. Moon likes to lay directly at the foot of the camera.
I don't even know where your other hubcap is. No, you can't have
Don't
my
look.
water.
Stop looking at it. He's gonna. Just. I brought a soft pretzel yesterday for lunch, and every time I walked into the warehouse, he followed me as fast and stood right at the table and stared at it. It's like, I'm not in here to eat it. He's like, but can I have a piece, please?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you ate half of it basically. Right?
So he was
mooch.
probably, I think he was sitting out in the sun like a dummy, and he's a black dog, so
Yeah.
he's like panting and
It's like, so hot.
yeah, and he has a water bowl, but he wants my water. Anyway, so busy time of year.
Yes.
We are ramping up for Carlisle and Hershey. I'm actually getting a little bit of anxiety over how much we have coming up and going
Yeah.
on. We also have, I pick up this weekend. I don't know exactly how to say his name correctly. Anton. I'm not sure. I apologize. I will get the correct.
He's actually, if you're watching this, listening to this on Sunday, Matt's picking him up today.
Yeah, I'm picking up today, this afternoon. A young Swedish guy, Benny, the Swedish shop teacher that comes and visits every couple years with students. We now have a little rotation going.
Yep.
So we had Carl and Jacob years ago that came in, year or two ago, 2 years ago, that stayed for like quite a while, for a whole month or more.
They were here for like 2 months, I think.
2 months maybe. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So he offers up to his students, kind of half joking but serious. And they, this year I had a young man that offered to come out and stay for 3 or 4 weeks and help us work and stay, trade a room and board type deal for helping us work. So I agreed. Then I also had kind of jokingly our viewer
Dale.
Jeez, my brain's not working. Sorry, Dale. Dale, when he helped us in Oklahoma, I was kind of like, if you ever want an IronTrap vacation, come and work and hang out. So he opted to come. Basically, a week later, he's coming in, and they're going to be here both over Carlisle Hershey. So, and then helping before/after. So it'll be cool. So I'm like, oh my God, I got like 2 spare bedrooms. I got to get them all like ready. My father wants to come to Hershey. So now it's like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring an old car because I got 4 of us extra.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of
riding.
shuttling to go on.
I know. So I might just bring my pickup truck. I don't know. It's one of those things. So we'll see how the weather is. If the weather's good, I might drive the stand delivery and make my dad or somebody drive my pickup. And then we'd have it just to cart around. I don't really know. And so
Because then Steve also said he wants to go for a day to each show, and Luke will be there as well to help in the booth.
But you drive back and forth.
Yeah, I drive back, but still, that ends up being like 7 or 8 of us at one shot.
Ridiculous.
I don't think we have enough. I got to buy an order from Uline. We got to get more free chairs.
I got a bunch in all my cars. Different cars. We can steal a chair out of each car or something. So the good part of that is we have a lot of help this year.
Yeah.
So setting up and taking down the booth, we will have help. It will take a little bit of the stress off of Mike and I because usually it falls on us. And Steve helps, but it's still just 3 of us.
Yeah.
And like when we're taking down the booth, we're all just like over it. So if you have 4 or 6 guys, my father helps too.
Yeah, it makes it much faster.
Much faster. So got that. So that's going on.
Carlisle spaces N3 to N6. Hershey spaces are C4T 25 to 27. Light pole 33, North Chocolate Field.
Yep.
I think that's all correct.
Yep.
We're right by Gate 1 in Carlisle. That's the easiest way to explain it. Right behind Coker Tire.
Yes. And I will not be much at the tent throughout the week. I usually try and do like the last day of the show or second half of the last day of the show. Carlisle, I usually buzz through Carlisle quicker. So usually the last day of the show, I just spend the whole day, Friday, in the booth basically. Hershey, it varies, but Hershey I might spend the second half of the day of the show. And Thursdays, the last day we're there. We don't do Friday. So if you're looking for me,
there'll be a cast of characters in the booth at any given time.
Yeah.
Between Steve, me, Luke, Matt, and then add the Swede, Dale, and your dad.
And whoever else. My father will probably just be sitting there hanging out, looking for handouts of food and beer.
Yeah, don't ask Mr. Murray any price questions. He'll just go
No
talk to those guys over there.
Yeah, he's not. He's the opposite of a good salesman.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's some of the stuff we have coming up.
And it kind of segues into today's topic of, we talked about how we prepare for Carlisle and Hershey a couple weeks ago, but we never really talked about what we're bringing, because we have some decent items that we're bringing, some better items we're bringing this year, and what we're shopping for, because we both have a shopping list of items that we're on the hunt for. Matt's is a bit longer than mine because he has about 7 more cars than I do.
I don't actually have a ton of stuff this year because, and I didn't put all the like pie in the sky type items.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's not as much I like need. So
That's true.
Speak. So it's surprising that my list is probably the smallest.
It'll get bigger as we go along.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll think of some extra stuff. But when we're trying to set up for what we're going to bring for Hershey, like right before we started this podcast, Mike and I, what are you looking for? Come on. Do you want to go out? What are you about? Come on. Go outside. Go away. You're leaving. I'm kicking you out. You're a huge distraction.
This is the first podcast guest we've ever had to kick out of the shop.
Go.
Go bug Steve.
Go bother somebody else. Go get a drink.
This is the first guest we've ever had to kick out of the studio.
Yeah, he's been a bit much today already. So before this podcast, we were talking about Mike and I are always trying to be more thoughtful in what we're bringing. Now that we've been doing it a little while, it's like you start to notice trends of what sells or what people, whatever at Carlisle versus Hershey. And we're trying to think of like some stuff like what we're kind of topic is like your wish list type deal. So it's like, well, what kind of wish list stuff do we currently have that we could bring to the show that would make somebody, like really happy? Because a lot of the reasons everybody comes to Hershey is because you find that stuff that you won't find anywhere else, either really rare, could be expensive, could be obscure, and also high quality of parts you'll see at Hershey. So it's like we're trying to also help the cause and help ourselves, obviously. But what are some items? So we were just discussing like.
Well, the 2 big things that we're bringing a car to each show, a different car to each show.
Yeah.
Planned. We have a 39 coupe that we're going to be bringing to Carlisle.
Project car, like a roller.
Yes.
And we've noticed at Carlisle, a lot of the crowd that's walking around, you get a lot of those. I mean, they're at Hershey too, but like I feel like at Carlisle, you get a lot of those people that a little more broad of a customer base.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the guy you're going to get the down and dirty, backyard builder that's just looking for something he can, on the cheap, throw an engine in, have fun with, blah, blah, blah. And maybe has a tight budget. So this car is a car we're going to price affordably, basically what the sheet metal on the front end's worth. And we just want to see that car get used and not parted out. So it's like, we'll put that there affordably. We've done pretty good selling affordable cars at Carlisle. That car is going to be what, $3,000?
Yep,
$3,000, and you're going to get a rolling coupe with the frame already repainted.
Yeah, the frame and the front end's all painted and redone.
Yeah, so you get some stuff like that. So we're like, everybody going to Carlisle and Hershey, a lot of us are always like, oh man, I know years ago before I had this many cars, it was like, oh man, if I could find a cool coupe body to
Yeah.
work on for this winter, and so that's why we're thinking that way. And then Hershey,
We got that 39. We're bringing two 39s this year.
yeah, it's
39 convertible.
deluxe
Yeah,
convertible
Steve's
coupe.
actually probably working on it right now. Rebuilding the carb
Yep.
at the moment. But we got it running, and Steve's been bolting all the piles of extra parts that we had that weren't bolted onto the car.
Yeah.
Steve's been going through and bolting all the important stuff that was door cards, garnish molding, all that stuff. The seats are bolted in now, so it's a much more complete looking car.
Well, it's and also
Excuse me.
also we kind of think, sometimes when I go to Hershey or we go to Hershey or Carlisle, guys are selling cars much like this abandoned project. All the money and time has been spent, and it's like the last 10% to make it drivable. But they have all the stuff in boxes, and like it's one thing to tell you it's got everything, but at least if we bolt most of that stuff on just to like mock it up, even if it needs to be, some finishing details need to be done, you can actually see the garnish molding is perfect and been re-wood grained. You can see all the trims there. You can see all these pieces, and yes, you may need to do a couple little odds and ends to hook some final stuff up, but you can look at the car and the only boxes or parts are going to be like the convertible top hasn't been installed, the fabric. So it's like, yeah, we'll put that in a box, but that's not that exciting. You open the box, you see there's fabric, but all those little pieces that weren't put on, the emblems, some of the trim, garnish molding, door cards, the floor mat, the seats, it's like all that stuff we're going to put in. And then you can really see the value of the car. I think sometimes we get that way too. Like we first got that car and we were like kind of being lazy. And it's like we put it up for sale, but like you couldn't really see what all was there. We're going to take some time to wash it and try and buff it a little bit because the guy was wet sanding, but he didn't finish.
And we compile all the receipts and everything because we have receipts for the Columbia rear being all redone. So all that stuff makes it easier to sell.
Yes.
There's less parts to look at and the car just appears complete.
Yes.
From the, when you first walk up on it, it looks like a nice complete car.
Yeah. So that car will be a little towards the higher end of, project cars, but it's literally 90% done. I mean, you got to finish a little bit of wiring and, some little odds and ends. But, Steve, there was full stainless exhaust on it that was just the guy had sitting in there, but the gentleman had never clamped it together and bolted it to the car. So we took the ugly tips that everybody hated in the videos off. And now it's just nice little pea shooter stainless exhaust on the back. Looks great.
Sounds pretty good too.
You guys ran it yesterday.
Yeah.
So, but, so we're trying to do that kind of stuff. And again, thinking of, cars like a 39 Deluxe convertible coupe is much like a 32 coupe or a 40 convertible. There's some of these cars that people like their whole lives have been looking for a good one, and
they're at the top of the list of like the best early Fords.
Yeah, there's some of the best. A 39 convertible coupe is one of the best looking fat fender convertibles in my opinion. So like that's a car that someone that maybe is later in life or doesn't have the tools to put together, that has all the rust repairs been done. It's painted, and if you want to change some little things, you can, but like you don't need to spend 10 years of your life compiling all these hard to find parts. They're already in it. They're nice. So like we're like, that's a car that guy would go to Hershey with money in his pocket to buy a nice car, and and we could potentially sell that car. So we're the only thing that's a little hard right now is the market for some of the early Ford stuff or antique cars in general is like all over the place. We were looking at prices of 39 convertible coupes, and like Mike found one on Bring a Trailer that had an LS in it. Went for what, like
$80,000.
$80,000, and it looked relatively stockish, but it had
it was on a chassis and had an LS. But like you can buy a nice original one for like 22 to 35.
Yeah, a decent one. Yeah. Not like an award-winning AAC car, but you could buy one that's kind of like the one we're selling is in that range. So it's like, it's funny. It's like we should just put an LS in this thing.
Just order a chassis for it, an LS, and cash in.
Given those chassis are like $20,000.
Yeah, exactly.
For those crazy chassis, or more. So when we're thinking through it, it's like we have a lot of stuff that is pretty good and in our inventory. So like we were talking about like a Columbia, we've been talking about a Columbias a lot, and we've been fortunate to get a bunch of them. So like some of the cars that I want to keep or like better, I've been putting Columbias in just because it makes driving a flathead powered car that much nicer, and it is nostalgic because it's
Basically, this whole row right here in the front has or will have
yeah.
Columbias.
I guess you're right.
Sedan delivery, the Merc. We have a Columbia for the 38 and the DeLorean car.
Yeah.
Will all be Columbias.
Yep, and they work great when you get everything set up with the right pairing of stuff. It's fantastic,
Yeah.
and it just makes it nicer for when you're even if you're only driving an hour from home. If you get on the highway and you drive for 40 minutes of your drive on the highway, it will bring the temps down. It'll make the engine happier, and it's really nice. So,
And honestly, it's a little bit safer because you're doing more of you're keeping up with traffic a little bit better. So
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
that dude in the right lane doing like 55, 60.
well, I mean, you can do that with the
Normal rear, yeah.
378, but you're
Winding it
screaming
out,
it
yeah.
out, and then you're going to start seeing your flatheads heating up, especially when it's warm. I noticed that in the Mercury, like before we took it apart, before I like did all the changes, I would drive it, and it was like on a hot day, you'd actually watch the temps like go up, and then I'd get off and get on a back road, driving. All of a sudden the temps would drop way down. It's like, okay, it's telling me what's going on here.
Yeah.
And we just don't have, the gearing is too low for the driving we're doing. So we're going to bring a Columbia with, we have a lot of Columbia stuff. And for a minute there, we weren't selling any of it because I was trying to get what I needed for the cars I wanted to put them in. And now I pretty much, the cars I want to put them in, we have them either in it or for it.
Yep.
So we just sold to a customer all the pieces to build a Columbia. And then our friend George that's been doing the Columbias for us, we just hooked the two of them up. They're going to work together, and he's going to rebuild it for him. We provided the parts. So we're like, okay, we'll pull one that's complete out of our inventory and bring it to Hershey. And, again, that's one of those items I think of a wish list.
Yep.
I had it on my wish list before I had Columbias. I had it on my wish list a bunch of years at Hershey going. I'm like, man, if I could find a good deal on a Columbia, that would be killer. And so us having one, I feel like you might see one Columbia in all of Hershey if you're lucky. So they don't pop up very often.
No.
So it'll be cool to put one out for sale that's complete and literally has, it's a complete rear. So you can just basically take it apart and inspect it or have it bulletproofed and then put it back together. And
It's a 46.8 rear if I remember correctly.
So
but the majority of the Columbias that you find are 46.8. They were the most popular.
But they still fit. That sometimes people turn their nose at them. Like a fat fender car, they will still fit under those.
Yeah, that's
It'll
true.
actually just push. It's what one. It's
Inch and a half overall, so 3/4 aside.
Aside. So most of the time, as long as your car isn't running massive tires or you're not like slamming it so hard.
Yeah.
And even if you're slamming it, I feel like there is actually room to fit that in. It's the same idea as putting a 35 to 40 rear under a 32 3/4.
Yep.
It's wider, but it actually, if you're into custom type stuff, hot rods, customs, whatever, like, and you're not doing a total resto, it actually looks better anyways because it gets the rear end, the stance, or
Out
the
a little bit,
staggering of the tires out a little bit. So I think they work well. It's pretty neat because the option, if you're trying to stay nostalgic, doing a Columbia is cool. So anyways, that was an item we're bringing. And then we've been talking about, like, previous years I've brought, put like a supercharger off the shelf or whatever. We have so much good stuff in our inventory now that I almost don't feel like I need to pull anything off the shelf of keeper stuff or setback stuff. We have a bit of speed equipment.
Yeah, we got some speed equipment. We have 2 2s, 3 2s, 4 2s. We have that 471 blower intake we're bringing too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So we have a little bit of everything. I don't have a lot of, in previous years we've had overhead valve speed equipment. I don't think we have a lot of that this year. It's mostly flathead. Trying to think what's on the shelf up there. I can't remember, but our booth always has a table full, at least a table full of speed equipment,
and
always.
Then sometimes if I have something that I have doubles or triples of that is setback, I usually use this also, which I hope a lot of people do for Carlisle Hershey. I usually go through. I was doing it a little bit last night. I was hanging out in the upstairs here, and I was just going there and looking at my stuff. I'm like, somehow you acquire 2, 3, 4 of something, going to swap meets, and
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, you know what? I should look at my stuff and pull some stuff. So, for instance, Mike has a few things sitting down here. I somehow ended up with like 4 or 5 key cutters for old time keys, like where you could put the code in and punch the keys.
I think we got 2 or 3 of them in Long Island. Remember, there was a whole tote that
Oh,
just,
right.
or no, where was that?
I don't remember.
No, that was in Detroit where we got the 46.8 and that Columbia.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a whole tote that said key cutters, and I think there was 3 or 4 just in that tote.
So I kept the K.R. Wilson one for myself. I have a duplicator. I have the little nibbler.
The Curtis, right?
Yeah, the Curtis one. So I kind of have the 3 that you would need for most anything we're doing. And then I still had like another nibbler, and then we have this, I think this is a Curtis, but it's a table one with the book. I'm like, why do I have all these? Like, let's sell one, because somebody out there is also like us and needs to make keys for old cars.
And also, we can't sell them on eBay because eBay considers them locksmith equipment, and that they don't allow you to sell that.
When they're so antiquated that the only thing in those books is like, I think that book might end at like 1946 or something. So it's like, what do you? But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna bring stuff like that, and looking through the piles of stuff, and it's like we have duplicates of a lot of stuff. So I try and go through and like think of neat stuff that would be interesting when you're going to Hershey. That's a little different. So
We have a bunch of, speaking of tools, we have a bunch of K.R. Wilson stuff that we'll be bringing. Tools, and I have some engine stand attachments that are oddball.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing some of that stuff, definitely.
I feel like Hershey, you see a lot of specialty tool K.R. Wilson stuff. Like last year, there was a guy that had a stand with like every adapter for early Ford for it. That was really cool. So it's like neat. You see, that's one of those places you see K.R. Wilson stuff. We've actually sold a couple of engine stands over the years. I feel like it's a good spot because most people are already there with a car. You'd hate to have to ship that because it would be freight. So it's like one of the only places you could sell heavy K.R. Wilson stuff because people don't have to think about it.
Speaking of, if there's any large stuff in our inventory you would like, body panels, send us an email. We will deliver it to the shows for no charge. Just hit us up ahead of time. Don't send us a message the day before you're going to be there. Chances are we probably won't be able to grab it that day. So just send us an email now.
But we've been going, like, we have a lot of stuff set back of, like, pallets. We have a lot of pallets of inventory that we loaded and haven't even gone through. So, like, Mike and I were just discussing, it's like, again, for Hershey, try and bring some of this really neat stuff. So Mike next week is going to be going through a bunch of the pallets and treasure hunting.
Yes.
And I can think of some stuff that we found, even for myself, that we got like 3 or 4 of those accessory chrome
spats
for they're like the Lincoln Continental Zephyr, whatever, Continental style, like chrome spats that go on the rear.
Or stone guards.
Stone guards, yeah, it's a better term. And we had like the one estate, we got 3 or 4 of them new. The packaging was falling apart, but I'm like, I want a set or 2 for myself to try on a car. And then there's sets to sell, but they're like, when do you ever see those things pop? They're like all the custom cars back in the day. A lot of them had those on them.
Yes.
So it's like,
Pete's car has them on them.
Yeah, he does.
And there was a bunch of 46.8 Mercury grills that were brand new. NOS in the bag. Yeah. So like there's a bunch of the 2 big estates we did this summer. Long Island and our trip to Minnesota and Michigan. Those 2 estates, I kind of pulled a few bigger items off the top, and then all the smalls just went on pallets. Yeah. And we haven't touched it. So this, and Oklahoma, actually, there's 2 pallets from Oklahoma we haven't touched that probably have some good things on there. And
there's some pallets that we have touched, but we haven't really fully gone through.
Dug through, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Next week is just going to be me literally digging through pallets, pulling out.
Treasure hunting, that's what it is.
Yes.
It's awesome. It's actually kind of fun.
It is. I'm going to try and spend Monday and Tuesday just doing that, and then Wednesday and Thursday just pricing, trying to get as much priced as possible.
So we'll be bringing, some of that better stuff and trying to think, again, back to the wish list thing, trying to think of stuff that, like, is hard to find that somebody would be looking for. And then you're thinking of the fun stuff, like accessory things like that. That's what we all loved about, like, I have stuff on a list always in the back of my head or in my list in my phone that's like the stuff that's not as fun, but you need it. And then there's the stuff that's just, most of my list is the fun stuff that you want to find for it. But like we were talking about in our tips, we have a very popular video, if you haven't watched it, that's like the top 10 or 20 tips for going to Hershey.
The AACA is probably going to share it any day now because they share it almost every year.
And they hate hot rodders, but
Yeah.
they share our videos. Kind of interesting.
Yes.
Kind of ironic. So we did a video on that, but like one of those tips was like use your phone or you make yourself a list. I already have like a stuff that's like, do you need actually I need to write this one down, but like, do you need a left or a right? So like the Packard we just got, one of the running boards is all rotted out. I think it's driver's side.
It is driver's side.
Probably is driver's side. So it's like I need to make a note of my phone because if I'm at Hershey and there's a guy with one running board and I'm like, I can't remember, blah, blah, blah. So it's like any of that stuff you should make notes for yourself. So we're trying to think of things that are hard to find even if it's a single. So if it's a door for a pretty hard to find car or vehicle, it's like you'd be surprised somebody goes and they're like, I've been looking for 10 years for that
we sold a bunch of singles, 3-window doors.
Yeah.
There's a couple times we've just taken one door and they're so hard to find. Guys will just buy them because they've been looking forever.
Right. So that's the that's some of the stuff we're trying to think of for that's fun to bring. Literature, we have a lot of books in literature, which we seem to oddly enough be seeing a rise of selling. I don't know if it's just people are realizing that a lot of this literature and books, some of this stuff is not online. So buying it is something, getting that stuff and making yourself a little library like I have behind the camera in my office of stuff you can reference when you're building these old cars is very, very helpful. So I don't know if we have any green Bibles. They sell all the time.
I sold all of them.
Yes.
I'm probably selling the majority of my little books, so I'll probably bring a ton of them.
Boy.
I have not as large a collection of little books, but Matt has, but I have a lot, and there's no reason for me to have. I can literally just come up here if I need reference for anything.
Borrow a year or two of rotting
exactly.
custom and just read it at home.
So I haven't touched them in forever. I've slowly been selling them, so I'll probably pull some out just to bring because little books always sell at Carlisle and Hershey. But we do have a lot. The estate that Luke and I went to in North Carolina, I got a whole bin of like all the good how-to hot rod books. There's like 5 to 10 of Vern Tardell's books. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably bring a bunch of that stuff.
Carlisle and Hershey,
just put a table. We don't bring a ton of literature. I'm not bringing all of it, but we'll bring some good parts books and a table's worth just to put out.
And it's the same thing. Like we're bringing some of the, like if we are going to bring literature as far as like Ford pamphlets or something, it's like the more unique or hard to find ones, because that's the stuff that's like really cool when you see that stuff. You're like, whoa, I've never seen that before.
And I don't want to take business away from those dudes that bring 900 milk crates of books and put them out. I feel bad for those dudes. They got to make some sales.
That is a tough sell.
Hopefully we don't turn into those dudes when we get older, selling books.
Yep. So we're going to get into that was just a little bit of our kind of thought process of what we're bringing and what kind of stuff. But we have started on the Hershey wish list. It's not fully done yet, but I figured it's so close. Next week, we're getting ready for Carlisle, and then it's going to be Carlisle and Hershey. So we're not going to have much more time after this weekend to think about it because we're going to get so busy, and it's going to be a whirlwind of stuff going on. So I kind of worked on my list the past couple days or whatever.
And I've actually been driving my car, so I've been thinking about stuff that I need.
That is the best way to come up with a wish list.
Also I want to mention, if you've been wanting to buy merch and we've been out of stock of sizes, I will be picking up a fresh order of merch one day this next week. So we'll have a full restock at Carlisle and Hershey.
Yes.
And if the stock survives those 2 shows, they will go up on the website. If not, we'll be placing another order directly after to get our inventory back up. I've been not doing a good job this summer. I will take all the blame of keeping inventory of merch. So hopefully in the future we're better at it.
We've been a little busy.
Yes.
So the great thing with having Luke coming on board is it's allowing Mike, much like when Steve came on board for myself, it's taking a little bit of the load off of you. So now that stuff that slipped through the cracks, we can try and handle better. So now with merch, we've had a problem with that for years where people will be hitting us up for a while, like especially overseas. Somebody from Australia will be like, I'm waiting for you to get large hoodies in because I want to place a big order of stuff to ship it to Australia. So it's like trying to get better where if something goes out of stock, it's only a couple weeks or, whatever. Or if we see there's only 2 of a size left, we place an
Yeah.
order. And so we're trying to get better, but it's just 2 knuckleheads running all this.
And also want to mention with Luke now working for us, the eBay store and our website will be shipping through both of the shows.
Yes, if you don't go to those events.
Yeah. So if in the past we've put our website and eBay on like we're away.
Yeah.
So if you would buy something Monday of Carlisle, it wouldn't ship to the Monday after Hershey if you're lucky. It'd be like 2 weeks. So now Luke will be splitting his time between the show and shipping. So everything will be getting sent out in a very timely manner, hopefully.
That's the key.
Yes.
So that's what we're looking to do. But for wish list stuff, like you said, that's a good point. If you're thinking about Carlisle and Hershey and making your own wish list, go drive go drive your old cars, and you'll instantly think of all like if you're anything like me, I always think of all the stuff that sucks on my car. Like I enjoy driving my cars, but usually the whole time I'm diagnosing all the stuff that I hate about it or I need to fix or it could be better. So like right before you're about to leave this weekend or next weekend, go drive your old car and be like, oh, I need this and this, and that'll create your wish list.
Well, you better start driving your old cars so you can get your wish list together.
I drove the shit out of the Mercury yesterday, and I thought of a lot of shit that I hate or needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
Not necessarily parts-wise, but
stuff.
But so you've been driving your 34.
The biggest thing is the steering box. It wanders way too much.
It's bad.
It's pretty bad. There's a lot of slop before it does anything. So 34 steering box I'd like to try and find. So keep an eye. I'd like to find one that's I don't need to do anything to and I can just drop it right in. So that's the number one on my list is a steering box.
And I feel like you actually see a fair amount of that stuff at Hershey, and Carlisle.
Yeah.
I feel like Carlisle actually is the sleeper spot for some of that stuff because you get the
I have to cut that. We can't put that in there.
Sometimes you find stuff like that was like a guy street rotted, and he's selling at Carlisle.
Yeah.
And he's selling his original parts, and sometimes you walk into it, but then on the other end you also see sometimes at Hershey the guy that just had gathered perfect stuff, and he picked the best one out of the batch, and his throwaway one is like good enough for us, So
exactly.
That would be, but yeah, you're right. That's been a kind of a thorn in that car's side since the beginning.
Yes, I started with like the worst steering box, which is my own fault. I just was like, this one's junky. We'll rebuild it, and then it's so worn out on the inside.
You need to do internals to make it good again, which we could, but
I'll just find a nice one and just pay the money, and it's done, and I can just put it right in.
So that I agree. That's probably something. What else? Anything else?
Eventually, I'm probably gonna try and find a 39. We have a bunch of cores, but I'd like to find the stuff on my own. I don't want to just take it out of inventory. A 39 box, just because it's a pain in the butt to be totally stopped to get it into first gear because it's not synchronized.
You have to do that on all of them.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, they're all like that.
Damn it.
Yeah, you did.
But my box is worn out. It pops out a second when you go on decel, just a little bit.
I have a couple cars.
Yeah.
Just hold up on it.
Exactly.
It's fine. But I get it. Like get a better transmission, or if you have an extra transmission. Now, and I do that a lot when we're trying to shop for these cars. Like you get the extra one so you can continue to drive it.
Yeah.
And you can rebuild that one.
Yep.
And have a nice, tight, ready to go transmission, and then you swap it in, and then it's like it makes the car better.
Yeah. So hunting for a 39 box just to put aside. I do have I forgot. I have a 39 box in my house, but it's an open drive. I bought it from you years ago from Carl.
Really?
Yeah. There's an open drive 39 box.
Yeah.
I've totally forgot. I literally just had that realization.
There you go. Mike's already checking his wish list.
Yeah, I got to convert it to a closed drive line though, which isn't terrible. I don't know what it looks like though. It's that one that has the homemade 32 mount that's just plate.
Oh, I don't even remember that one.
I bought it from you in when you first started selling for Carl.
Wow.
A long time ago.
That is a long time ago.
It's been sitting
with his stuff though. I loved Carl. He was a great guy. Good, he was a friend. But he was buying stuff from auctions and scavenging, so a lot of his stuff you open it up. I'm sure we opened it up.
Yeah, I don't remember. I have to. It's literally in the
But it probably needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
But you could probably swap some parts out with.
Oh, we have all the closed driveline stuff. I can swap it.
Swap it.
I literally Look, check that off my list. I didn't even have to go to Carlisle Hershey. I just had
There you go.
to talk through it.
Jeez.
It's in the back corner of my shed.
I
I gotta find it. I know it's there somewhere.
think a lot of people can relate to that. 'Cause
Yes.
I think all of us have so much. When you become like a lifelong car person, it just quickly happens where you buy something, and then years later,
Like,
why did you not? I guess you didn't feel like converting that one when you put whatever one's into your car.
I'm pretty sure I just didn't realize that because the trans that's in my car was already on that engine.
Oh, it was your original engine?
Yeah,
it came.
it came with that original
Yeah.
37 engine.
Got it.
I totally forgot I had that transmission.
There you
Shit.
go.
Yeah, look at
Making deals. You can just hand me some money.
that. Yeah, I paid for that transmission years ago.
Whatever.
I probably paid full retail for it too.
I don't think you would have. But
I don't think I did.
I think what I probably did, because I was splitting everything 50-50 with Carl.
I just paid Carl.
You paid Carl's half, and
Yeah.
I took no money out of the deal. So I lost again.
Yep. What's the top item on your list?
I don't know if I have a top item, so probably the theme of my list this year, just because it's timely. I got that Packard. I was tossing back and forth on it because it's not great timing to get that car, because I had so many projects. And like I talked about it in podcasts that like that was one of those cars I was looking for, but I also was not looking for it. So we got this car, and it's a great example for what I'd like to have. But like now all of a sudden I'm like that issue of now you want to find all the stuff that it needs, or you want to gather. So now I'm like, now I have another thing.
He sent me a V12 that was on. Was it Bring a Trailer?
Yeah.
He sent me a link to a Packard V12 engine and transmission on Bring a Trailer. I'm like, you have a problem.
Yeah, but unfortunately, right now, it would be
On top of car projects, we also have a gigantic mill that is just a big project
that's just
in itself.
It's a money suck. So
Yeah.
like
What did we say the other day? That the Tom Hanks movie, is it Money Pit?
that's literally, that money pit is literally my life right now. Like I'm living the IronTrap. We could do a spin-off of that movie.
We should.
But yeah, so like mainly I'm trying to look at that car. I guess the good thing is that car isn't like I'm starting it this winter. So that's kind of the fun thing when you do Carlisle and Hershey. Like you can put stuff on your list, but like only gonna grab it if it's a cheap type deal. But it reminds me that I'm looking for some of that stuff. So like number one of the big things I noticed on that car glaringly is the driver's side. And I struggle with this because if I'm going to customize it, I know Packard people might be crying, but you guys kind of know what we do. So if I'm going to like customize it, I'm like, well, I could build running boards, but the driver's side running board is all rotted out, behind where you would step into the car. The metal is rotted out. So I'm like, a driver's side running board would be nice. But then in the same breath, I'm like, do I just build running boards that are cool for it? I got the Pull Max. I could make a top section.
Yeah.
But in the same breath, I could also just get a running board and put it on
And be done with it.
And be done with it. So I don't know, but I could fix that one if I'm going to do it. If I'm going to like recover the running boards or whatever, I could just fix that one. But I have it on my list. If I found one that was affordable, that isn't rotted out, it would at least be a good example. Maybe even if I found one that was a little rough, but the section where mine's rotted, which is probably unlikely because they probably all rotted.
Yeah, and the plus side is it's a junior.
I talked to a guy at Gasket Goons. I got introduced to a Packard guy that's like in our area. That was really nice at Gasket Goons, and we were chatting. And actually, he's like, "Yeah, junior stuff's actually kind of expensive. It's been picking up because it was affordable." So he's like, "It's actually starting."
What was his name?
I don't remember.
One of my dad's friends was into Packards. I should hit him up, see if he has any parts.
Yeah, he's got 2, 3, 4 Packards and beautiful.
Was his name Tom?
Let me look. I put it on my. Oh God. Where the heck is it? Yeah, you can.
Hopefully we can. Worst case, I should also hit up Max Merritt. That guy from Max Merritt.
They are not cheap. Unfortunately, they are that gentleman and I discussed that. They, as expected,
They're a parts
they
business.
kind of have
yeah.
the market cornered, so their prices are
the
full-blown
price.
retail, and we're not really friends with them. We're not really going to get a discount. So I'm going to have to find the stuff kind of in the wild more than anything. Anyways, I don't remember his
Off
name.
the,
I might have saved it in my phone, but I don't remember his name, so I can't find the contact because I don't know his
you gotta start
frickin'
putting
name.
people's names as their car. Packard guy, local.
You know what? Packard. Nope, I didn't save it. It must be in a note somewhere in my phone. Crap. Anyways, yeah. So that
There's a lot of Packard people at Hershey. Like there's
there's a whole section. An old friend of mine, his father's been into Packards forever. It kind of stinks. I got this Packard, and we were texting the other day. His father just gave his 37 Packard away with a bunch of like parts with it to a friend, or I don't know the whole deal, but he gave it to a friend, and I'm like, crap. I was like, hey, he's got any cool steering wheels or any NOS stuff or nice stuff? He's like, oh yeah, that all went with the car. I'm like, crap.
day late, dollar short.
He has a little bit of stuff left. The one thing he had that was interesting was, I was educated on this. He has a later like 40s era 6-cylinder.
Okay.
Apparently they're higher horsepower, maybe higher compression, and apparently they bolt right in and look identical. They're just internally a faster, stronger engine. So he had one of those engines that he used to have in his 37. He was kind of like saying he would bring, but I don't know what I'm doing engine-wise. So
overhead valve.
Yeah, that would
put some overhead valve in.
That would be kind of cool.
So that'd be another thing to keep an eye out for. We have to look on your shelf to see what Packard trans adapters you have, because there was a bunch of different to like over Cadillac or Olds.
I think we got to look. We were talking about.
I'm pretty sure you have one.
An Olds one. That would be good, because if I was gonna put overhead valve, would probably be an Olds or a Caddy. I think I would put in it. But I have like I didn't really look at that car super close yet, but the fenders on it are all decent. They're just banged up, and they're, some of them have the little tears in the center like all cars of that era have. But I could probably repair most of that myself. The car, if I'm doing the car, it's going to be kind of like the Mercury, where I'm going to probably touch every panel on the car. I might as well just fix them. But one thing that's really cool, it stinks now that I got this car. There's a bunch of stuff we've had over the years that we've sold for good money, and now I'm like, man, I wish those
I would have kept that.
That would have been perfect. So one thing is some of the fancier Packards and other higher end models, even some of the GMs got them. They got like longer headlights, and they have like a Mohawk piece of chrome trim or an Art Deco trim on it. So some kind of like bigger, fancier lights on it would be kind of cool. I had also considered, like the 36s and some of those customs. They would put the 40 Chevy, the headlights that are kind of molded into the fender.
Yep.
So something like that could be kind of cool.
Gotta get a pair of yellow fog lights for your custom too.
That's one of the.
Really?
Yeah. So I have a set of cool. I just have cool driving / fog lights for the Packard. Now the problem is, they're quite costly. They're very popular at Hershey. So most everybody, that's not like a sleeper item. Like everybody in the planet knows that those fancy fog lights or driving lights bring decent money, so it's hard to find them.
We had a pair of driving lights too.
We've had a bunch of sets of different ones over the years that were really cool.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things I'm keeping an eye out for, but I also am not dead set on running them because I don't know like what bumpers and stuff I'm doing. I did see a photo recently of a guy posted on our Facebook of a Packard that was like he called it a flamethrower car, so some of the stuff I saw in it was not my taste, but it was a 37, I think.
It was that same greenish color too, wasn't it?
It was just a front end shot he had of it. I couldn't tell. But it had this 37 DeSoto bumpers, and it actually looked really cool. And I have a pair up top. But I'm missing a set of overriders. So I'm like, either I need to find cool overriders and customize them to fit those bumpers, or find 2 more 37 DeSoto overriders. So those bumpers are actually in pretty decent shape, the pair I've put together over the years. So they would be good candidates to chrome eventually someday. So that's kind of like some of the Packard stuff. I had cool bumpers for the Packard, but I'd probably know it if I saw it. So I've also seen photos of people running a little bit bigger of bumpers, like almost like late 40s, early 50s era
Okay.
bumpers. Like you think of a 46.8 Ford bumper, it's a little bigger
Taller,
and
yeah.
chunkier. That's such a big car. I feel like you can get away with bigger bumpers than just like a Blade DeSoto bumper. So like sometimes I just keep that in the back of my head when I'm walking for my wish list. I don't know what it is I want, but if I walked up on, who knows, it could be a 48 Hudson bumper and it just looks cool.
Yeah.
I need to take some measurements of the front end and back end of the Packard to get an idea of like what
Width,
my rough
yeah.
dimensions are. Sure, I can cut them and section them, but ideally, if I could find something that fits without narrowing it, and we could just make custom bumper mounts, that would be ideal. So like that's one that's going to be my fun one this year. I think to look for is just like any kind of needled bumpers. Just looking for some that might work on that car would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, how about you?
Gauges still. Pretty sure I gotta look at Packard parts too. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna run coffin needle gauges in that.
Oh, okay.
So I need to
That's not
find a
terrible.
32 Packard speedometer, and then I have to figure out tack is the only other thing because I don't know if those Packards had tacks. So the other thing I could do is send a tack to Williamson and have them make a coffin needle for it.
Yeah, what you could do is have, if you could find another tack or a clock from a Packard that just you basically just need the pointer,
Yeah.
and then you're it's going to be expensive, but you're basically just building a custom. If you could find a clock or another speedo that's junky, he's going to use the housing.
And
He'll
put
use
it-
the needle,
Yep.
and then he'll print a face for you that matches, and then put the guts from another tack.
Yeah.
In, like a
Because
short
what
one.
I'd probably do is have them make it electronic and then hide one of the.
Well, they can make it where you just wire it up like a modern one, where you just
Yeah.
put it on the the coil,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yep.
because that's what they do with the Sun ones. They
Yep.
basically redo them, so you just
Yeah, because I don't want to spend the money for a tack drive. It's kind of silly for that car.
No, I think if you're redoing the gauge anyways, it makes sense just to make it
Yeah,
where it's just
yeah.
you just put the wires on the coil like any modern tachometer, and then it'll just be.
And what's nice, those coffin needle gauges, I can buy NOS. Like if the ones I have don't work, you can buy NOS coffin needle gauges for like
I have a bunch too.
60, $70 for a brand new one in the box.
Yeah.
So I have a temp gauge at work. So I have two of them actually.
Oh, good.
So that's the more expensive of the gauges.
Gas gauge would be probably the other one.
I have one. I just have to test it.
Oh, you have a.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And worst case, you get it converted to 12 volt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
So I have amp, I have water temp, I have oil pressure.
Hmm.
Luckily, the oil pressure is mechanical. They just work.
And that's another cool thing. That's another good one of those things that if you send them away and they take a while to get all the gauges ready, you still have something in the car that you can
Yeah.
drive it.
None of the gauges work. Just my water temp gauges work.
Oh, oil pressure doesn't even work?
Oh, oil pressure does work. Yeah,
That's
that's
the
right.
only two that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nothing else you need.
Amp gauge works, but it's wired backwards, so it just shows negative when it's charging.
Jesus.
I haven't fixed it. It works. I know it's charging.
Oh, God.
And
Yeah.
then the other thing is I need to find tires. The front tires are like mock-up. They're from the 60s, I think. They're pretty old. They have a little bit of dry rotting. They're not bad. They're usable. But if I'm going to start putting miles on the car next year, I should try and find newish front tires.
Yeah, and that's a good Hershey Carlisle thing where a guy just changed the tires or, again, somebody that's doing... Now, you want small front tires, so
Yeah.
that might be a little harder to find. But,
Those tires that are on it, you found at Hershey or Carlisle one year?
oh, yeah, I
Found
bought them
four of them.
from... I bought them from someone we know. I
Yeah.
forget.
They're good mock-up tires. They're really good mock-up tires, but they are older. They do have some dry rot.
I have the same thing on the delivery.
Yeah.
The front tires on the delivery are older. They're kind of hard. They surprisingly, I don't know about yours, but mine aren't like out of round.
No.
I mean, I think I noticed in the delivery, I got with the Columbia, I put in overdrive and I could start to notice when I got up closer to
Yeah.
70.
I haven't
But they're
done
not
70.
balanced either.
Yeah. So that's the big thing is just front tires. Just if I don't find them for decent, I'll just buy new ones. I mean,
It's worth checking at the show though, because sometimes Coker and some of those places do like a crazy deal.
yeah,
on
exactly.
them. But
And
I've had a lot of luck.
Universal too.
I've had a lot of luck at Hershey at buying secondhand tires or
Yep.
new tires that somebody bought and never used, and That's why I never really want to sell tires, because you take a beating on them,
Uh-huh.
even if they're brand new in the wrapper. Everybody's like, oh, the date code, or they're pushing on with their finger. Oh, it's not as soft as new, and then they want to pay like 300 a tire. They want to pay 25. So
Yep.
I might as well just keep the tires and use them for mock-ups. So you could be that guy like, oh, the date code is. Oh, it's 2 weeks out. I don't know. This feels unsafe.
And the last thing I need is garnish molding.
Oh yeah,
Door garnish molding. I'm probably just gonna, if I don't find anything this year, I'm just gonna buy the reproductions and just be done with it.
What is your? I forget now. Your doors are the same length as.
I think they're 2-door sedan.
Okay, if you find a rough set, you could cut.
Yeah, if I can find a cheaper set, 2-door sedan stuff's gotten expensive because it's the same as 3-window,
Yeah.
same bottom length. Oh, and I need what was the other thing I just thought of? Shit, there was something else I thought of.
I'm sure I have stuff if you want to keep thinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one thing we got at a local pick, we were purchasing from a private collection. We got a bunch of really neat Art Deco, orphan brand car parts stuff. We sold that super cool radio aerial.
Yeah,
That was
Motorola Clipper.
Yeah, and that was neat. That was one of those ones where I was like, I want to keep it just to have it here on display, but I'll never do anything with it. But anyways, I got a 39 Nash banjo steering wheel. Really unique. They're actually like a 4-spoke banjo steering wheel, which normally they're just 3 spokes. We got one of those without a horn button or horn ring, and the wheel itself is in decent condition. It could either be run on a Survivor as is, or it could be easily refixed and resprayed for anything we're doing. But I'm missing the horn ring and the horn button. It's pretty unique. It's got a flat. I got a picture of it, so I'm kind of looking at to remind myself, but it's like flat on the top and has a round on the bottom, and it's got a really big.
Looks similar to a 46.8 Packard's. It's kind of the same way.
Yeah. It's got a big, and then it's got a big Nash horn button. It's actually quite large. So I wanted to write down the actual year because I don't really know those vehicles that well. So when I'm at a booth of a guy that has Nash stuff, I've done that in the past. You go, oh, I'm looking for this horn ring. Do you know any guy? And like if the guy's in the Nash club, he might be like, oh, my buddy over Space XYZ, he has a lot of that stuff. And I've had luck over the years with getting that oddball stuff where I don't know the people, and somebody will point you, oh, my buddy so-and-so has them, or go see this guy. He doesn't even really set up, but he has a lot of 39 Nash stuff at home, and then you get it. I mean, that if you want to network, Hershey is the spot to network for finding stuff. And again, you may not pay, you're not going to steal it, but like for this, the wheel was essentially free because we bought all this stuff and sold it. So if I got to pay retail for a horn ring, I'm still going to have a good wheel. So looking for that 39 Nash horn ring and button will be really cool. I don't know what I'm going to put in. It would be also nice to find a stub for a steering column. I actually didn't look and see if that's keyway or if it's splined.
I think it's splined, if I remember correctly.
So I may need to try and find. I imagine a 39 Nash steering box is probably very cheap. So if I had to buy a box just to get the stub so I could fix it to a different steering box would be cool. But it's a super cool wheel. I don't even actually care that much. It'd be cool to find the horn button, because it'd be neat to almost make a copy of it, like have somebody like our buddy Jeff draw it in some sort of 3D modeling thing, and then either 3D print it or make a mold so you could cast something for it, but without the Nash logo. That'd be kind of neat. So if I could find one just to use for that, great. If not, I could just use the dimensions and make, or come up with something for it that would be pretty cool.
The other thing I remembered as I was driving today, I either need a 34 driver's door latch.
Okay.
Because my doors are mismatched. One's a 33 door latch, one's a 34 door latch.
Yeah.
So my driver's door, the handle's up front. On my passenger door, the handle's in the middle. So I either need it's a 34, so I'm probably going to, just so they match.
Isn't it an early and late thing? Is technically...
Yeah, early 34, the door handle was in the front.
Yeah.
Because that's how
the delivery is that way, yeah.
So I just want to find a late 34 door latch to put it in the correct position in the drive so they match.
Yeah.
33 latches are much harder to find. So I'll find a driver's door latch, put that in, then I can sell the 33 one.
We don't have any.
We don't. We haven't.
They sell
well,
so quick.
that's another reason I want to pull down the stuff from Oklahoma. There might be some door latches in there.
Oh, you're right.
Because there was a bunch of extra stuff.
That guy he had a 33, but there might have been
extra
stuff that mixed in. Yeah, that's a good one. And I feel like that's something that there's a pretty excessive amount of early Ford stuff at Hershey. So it's like you could find them. It's just, again, the same idea. You walk around Hershey, there'll be one guy that has that latch for $750 that's shooting for the fucking moon. And then you have another guy that's like $50. And it's like, you just got to find, and everybody in between. So you just got to be patient. Luckily for you, like your car, you can drive it. So you don't need to spend $750 because your doors close.
Yep.
And somewhat latch.
Somewhat latch, yes. Haven't had a door open yet.
Thankfully. I am surprised. I can't believe that.
They stay closed. The worst place that I've driven into is the mill, which is like the most off kilter.
The Mercury with the running those coilovers in the back, it pops and carries on when I go in because the spring comes like unseated. And so yesterday we were there, and one guy that's doing some odd jobs for me there working on the mill, he was like, man, that thing sounds like my back in the morning when I get up. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Creaking and popping.
But it's like, we're going to have
off
to
kilter.
We're going to have to make that ramp smoother or something. But
just pulling old cars in the other side.
True. Yeah. Just got to figure out, got to make it easier so you don't have to get out and move the chain.
Well, when we're there every day, I'll probably just take the chain down first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. I'm always looking for these, but I need to try and be more mindful to look for them at Hershey. 41 Ford bumpers are like one of the more popular custom bumpers.
That's on this, right?
Yeah, that's what I have on the 38. The one I have is pretty decent. I don't remember. I think it's the rear one. I didn't have a good front. I bought some from somebody on Instagram, but we got them here and they just weren't as... It was way worse than the rear one, so I ended up selling it. And Pete brought over one that's... The chrome is about the same as the rear, but it had a pretty good bend in it. So Steve and I pressed it and got it decent, but it still has got a wave in it that as that car gets better, I'd like to have better ones. So I'm kind of keeping an eye out for a front bumper. But at 41 bumpers in general...
They're hard.
They're hard to find, so I'm kind of always looking for good chrome ones for a good deal, so I can, try and upgrade. But also, never know what cars we're building over.
Yeah.
So I've been stashing bumpers on top of this office here.
What's the Hudson bumper that you need?
I was trying to remember. Our buddy Big Kev, told me what it was one time. He Googled them, but I think it's 37 or 39 or 40 Hudson. It's got the little wingtips on it. That's pretty cool. I only have one, so to find another one of them would be neat. I need to go up there and take a photo to keep in my phone so I know what it looks like. So those are good. And then there's the obvious stuff 37 DeSoto bumpers are so popular. Anytime I find them, if they're a good deal, I buy them, regardless whether it's to buy and sell or to upgrade. But I have a pair right now, so I would only really be getting another set if they were upgraded. The only other thing is really I thought about looking for better bumpers for the 39 Mercury, but I already modified the rear, and my bumpers aren't bad on that car. They just need to be re-chromed as the car gets nicer. Yeah. So I'm kind of I'll probably just...
Don't you need aren't you going to look for gauges for this thing?
Yeah, the 38 convertible, I've decided much like you, you put them in and you drove them and it's and I got two that don't work now, even though they're brand new gauges. Junk. That stopped working. I think I'm going to try and do something nostalgic in the car. So the important ones work in the car still. It's fine. But I think I'm going to be more happy if I put something. So we just got some 39 Cad LaSalle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they're having
it's a multi-gauge, right? It's a big round multi.
There's 3 gauges. Yeah, there's 3 gauges, I think. I forget. But yeah, one of them is a multi-gauge. One's a speedometer.
One's a clock,
I think. So I was considering running those, but the one thing you run into with a lot of the Art Deco stuff era is a lot of the gauge faces are cream. So I did that that off-white
yeah.
interior, so I don't know if the cream's going to work in it. So I need to hold them. I was looking at them last night. I'm like, I should hold them up. I know the one gauge, the face is like a brown, the metal that's in between. I'm like, well, I could probably paint that some other color, but it would be nice to find some gauges. Sometimes you walk up on a set of gauges, you're like, oh, those are perfect.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of luck at Hershey finding people that have like restored gauges that are just sitting there. They're like, oh, I had them restored for a car and didn't use it, or blah, blah, blah. And I have a bunch of gauges in my case I bought over the years that were kind of like that. The hard thing with gauges and frustrating is I have a ton of gauges, and then I'm hunting for them because they're not quite right for the car. So it's like I have a ton of gauges.
I mean, you just sent me a post from Instagram last night for the 32. Yeah. You're like, I really want these gauges, but I have a display case of like 700 other ones.
Yeah, it's like, so those are a good example of something. If I could find them at Hershey, those store one or duplex gauges, they, with very little modification, you can fit them in the stock holes in a 32 Ford, and then you don't have like a big gauge panel. They just kind of have them in it, but they're quite rare. They're quite desirable. There was a guy with a pair of them that both were in working condition. It would have been perfect for the two-door sedan, but it was like over $1,000 for them, which is what they're worth. But it's like, I don't really need them for the car.
$1,050,
yeah,
not just
shipping.
1,000, just
yeah, $1,050.
Yeah.
But I was struggling with that because I have all these gauges. I have gauge panels that would be cool. I probably even have a spare 32 dash if I didn't want to modify that one, that I could modify and put a cool gauge panel in, and it would be equally as cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like struggling with that because that car was kind of thinking about keeping stock type gauges, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's tough. I need to find. I was actually just thinking about this. I need to find better taillight bezels for my car too, because the bezels are like pitted and they look good for other cars now. But if we paint it, I'd like to find something that's a little bit better. There's so much NOS Buick stuff out there.
And we've had a bunch. That's one of those things we've had.
I kept from the where we got that antenna and stuff. We got a pair of NOS lenses that I kept.
But we've had really nice bezels over the years too. And I have some. We'll have to look at my stuff. I might have two pairs. I might have a driver set and an NOS set. So we can.
I'll keep an eye on her. That stuff pops up at Hershey, and it's very affordable.
Generally, it is.
Yeah.
You could easily swap and sell your set and probably pay for a percentage of
exactly.
The nice.
I've melted one of my lenses, so I gotta put not as aggressive bulbs in it. So I don't do that to the NOS lenses that I have.
Drop the wattage down on them.
Yeah. Is there anything else on your list, or is that about it?
I have another one of the future project cars, the Lincoln, is still patiently waiting back there, and I've been just kind of throwing parts in it. It's been finding it.
Is the trunk full too, or is the trunk empty? We could start filling the trunk because the inside of the car is pretty full.
Yeah, we probably should put some stuff in the trunk. That car, it's a 41 Lincoln Continental. I don't love the dashboard in a 41.
It's very similar to like a 46.8 Ford.
Yeah, they are pretty when they're all done up and they have the gold and all the the trim is, or maybe that's 46.8 that has the gold, but I'm not like over the top with that dash. So I've kind of been on my list again is cool dashboard for the Lincoln. So I'm like, I don't really know what I want, but I was considering, like, even made me think of it, like you look at like some of the other brand stuff, what is a Studebaker, like the highest end Studebaker of that era? Some of the Studebakers were pretty fancy when you got into the higher end ones, or the whatever,
Is that dash removable from that, or is it part of the cow?
I don't know. Didn't look. No idea. But
we have the technology to remove it.
I have the wrecking devices that can.
Because I know the front of it's all like a unibody. Yeah. I didn't know if the dash is part of that as well.
I don't know. But I was thinking of a cool dash for that thing. Even if I got a dash that had a cooler, more basic of a shape, like the way that thing's shaped, you can't really change the gauges that easily or the layout. So if I got something that was a little more basic, you think of like a 44 type dash where it's just like the shape's kind of the same across, and then you can kind of modify. But I saw a couple people have done over the years. I think Dave Martinez might have did it in a car that looked really nice. He built a waterfall for a car to match another dash or whatever. So like something like that could be kind of cool, where I find a different dash from another car that's Art Deco and kind of fancy looking, put the dash in, and then you build like a waterfall that fits it, and it's kind of like a nod to the
Zephyr-esque.
Zephyr-esque waterfall. So that
39 was the last year of the waterfall, right?
I think so, yeah. So like that's the fun stuff for me, because like with the customs, it's kind of like I don't need this specific thing. It's just like I just got to look for a dash that looks cool. And again, at Hershey, I feel like you walk around, there'll be guys with like whole dashboards with every button, switch, gauge in it like it was pulled out of a car, just sitting on the ground. I'm like, that's the dream. If you could find something like that and be like, boom, there it is. I'd be like, that would be really cool. I'm also probably looking for a spare set of gauges for a 5051 Merc dash. I'm going to send the one that I have in the dash for my 39 Mercury. I'm going to send that out to Williamson and probably get them all redone and set up for 12 volt, calibrated and all that stuff. So while I'm doing that work for that, it'd be nice to have a spare set of gauges just in it for mock-up. So as I'm building everything, I can look at it and see how I like it and all that kind of stuff. It isn't totally necessary, but it helps with the vision.
Visual.
Yeah. So a lot of dashboard stuff, a lot of bumpers.
That never changes. It's pretty much the same every year.
It is similar, yeah, every year. Otherwise, I don't have a lot of major things, because a lot of the cars that I'm keeping,
and a lot of the projects now, we don't have any like projects that need a lot of parts. Like the Arden car, the Sweetheart Roadster, we should keep an eye out for a good Model A trunk lid. A really nice.
Yeah, you're right. I decided that's the problem with that car. I've been changing my mind so much. I think I'm going back, and I think I want to take the louvered deck lid off. I think it's been disputed in the videos, but I think the more I think of the overall vision of the car, I don't think a louvered deck lid matches the look I'm going for. So I think I'm gonna.
I'm just gonna pull it off and take it to Hershey and sell it. Then you have to find one.
No, leave something on it so it at least has a trunk lid. But
I know.
It sucks because didn't I make a trunk pull and all kinds of stuff? Yeah, that thing's like I have a trunk pull for that car. Like I made like a cable that goes back.
Well, it's not going to change because I think it just goes to the stock Model A latch.
I don't remember. No, I think I put some kind of Volkswagen or something.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
I don't remember either. I should go look at it.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, Model A deck lid, a really nice one. I'm trying to avoid.
They pop up. Nice Model A deck lids are out there. We've had them in the past too, which is the hard part.
Yeah, and even that's like one of those things where I could buy a Brookville and it wouldn't be that big of a deal, honestly, but I could build a deck lid from scratch, but it's the same thing. Like by the time I do all that, I could probably find time is probably my biggest problem.
I mean, a nice Model A, like perfect Model A deck lid's only like $600-700.
Yeah, and
you'd have $1,000 in time just to make one.
Yeah, and that's where I've been trying to think lately. I have only so much time to work on stuff anymore, and I'd rather put that effort into something that you can't get that part. So, something that's totally custom. Like when I was doing the Mercury roof, you can't just buy a chopped Mercury roof. So me building it is a necessity, where a deck lid, rather than spend that time, I'm not, I'm not working on that thing that needs to be worked on. So like the Arden car, gapping the doors, that's just something I need to do. But if I'm building a Model A deck lid that I could buy, you're not getting it done.
Exactly.
So I'll be keeping an eye out for
put that on your list.
Really nice Model A deck lid. Model A deck lid.
Minty.
Capital letters, nice.
Mint. Yeah.
Just so in case.
I'm going to find the junkiest one possible and buy it and be like, I got a deck lid for the car.
Yeah.
Which we have one of those. It's all rot. It's got rot holes in it.
Junky one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last handful of things is probably for the mill, believe it or not. So I've been buying up stuff for the mill to, eventually someday when we can get a retail space open, just to kind of like decorate, so to
Yeah.
speak. We have a good amount of stuff that's pretty cool, but keeping an eye out for some unique stuff that would be kind of neat, because we're also like on the outside of the buildings. It's kind of like finding some neat stuff, whether it's old parking signs with an arrow or something. Like I have the one right near you that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Parking in
It's
the rear.
it's too fragile,
Yeah, you don't want to put that outside.
but if you put it in a window
That's true.
inside the building. But like that's a good example, like weird one-off signs or unusual stuff that we can like instead of just putting some nothing we do is normal, especially myself. So it's like instead of getting like Tom to make us some vinyl metal with vinyl lettering signs, he does a great job, but like we want something that's more unique.
Yes.
And every piece of everything you see at the mill, I want it to be where it's like unique, one-off.
Start looking for doorknobs and weird shit like that.
Somewhat, but more just like the interesting signs.
I still got your bathroom sign on the front seat of my truck.
Oh yeah, cool. Bathroom sign, or is it the turn the lights off?
Turn the lights off for the bathroom.
Yeah. We were at a place where we picked up all that equipment last week, maybe
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, we picked up the Beverly Shear and the punch and a bunch of that stuff, and literally in that building next to the light switcher was is it hand painted? Or I don't know what.
No, it's just a normal porcelain sign.
Okay, but it's like it says, "Please turn the lights off"
off
or whatever, and I'm like, everybody keeps forgetting the lights in the bathroom at the mill, so I'm like, we're gonna put it right in front of that.
Yes.
But those are the kind of like funny, unique, whatever signs. So I'm looking for some odds and ends. I'm not gonna be the sign guy with tens of thousands of dollars walking around trying to buy crazy. It's more just like if something's cheap or neat.
Yeah.
That's what I've been buying. Also, like display cases or something that we could repurpose that would be cool. I don't really know, but I'm going to be keeping an eye out for like an interior decorator. I'm going to be like walking around and be like, oh, that's kind of cool. that steering wheel looks like something we could attach to the toilet. So that you spin the steering wheel to flush the toilet.
We got to swap all the steering wheels on the forklifts, change them over to like banjo wheels.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, actually.
How eccentric can we get?
Yeah, so just some of that kind of stuff I'm kind of keeping my eyes open for. That's just like unique, usable kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Carlisle and Hershey,
Carlisle, definitely.
you see some people that bring like antiques type stuff, and I found some pretty neat, weird stuff. Like, I mean, I bought like mid-century modern like furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were just at the local Duryea Day show for the museum here in town this summer, and I bought two pretty rare like bar stools mid-century modern for like insanely cheap. And it was just, you get these people that his wife brought them. He had car parts, and his wife brought 4 stools out of their basement, and she had them there, and I bought them. So
if you ever wondered, 2 stools fit in the trunk of the Mercury.
2 bar stools and folding chairs and a bunch of other stuff does fit in the Mercury. But
And Matt's thought process worked. He said, I'll buy them and I'll figure it out later.
figure it out. We did figure out, didn't even have to make a second trip. But yeah, and then like I always look for at Hershey and Carlisle neat kind of local or regional advertising or just related items. So we have like at Hershey, one of my favorite finds ever at Hershey is I have that really cool banner hanging up that is from an old car club banner that's like handmade by somebody's wife or something.
Yeah.
It's just like there's only one in existence.
I remember when we found that. That was like early of me going. That was like 2018.
That was one of the first years you went with me,
Yeah.
I think. And it was like $50. It's not like no one else in the world will probably really think it's cool, but because it's local, it's like it's really neat. So like that kind of stuff to hang around the mill and put up would be really, really cool. So mannequin type, stuff like that, like really old mannequin type stuff to use around the mill. That's the stuff that never ever looked when I walked at Carlisle and Hershey, would even be thinking about that. But now
that you're a eccentric old man with an old building.
Yeah, I am. I have the my rhinoceros skull that I bought at Hershey many years ago. Kate and I have been discussing if we want to move him to the mill, if he wants to live there or not. He's lived in my dining room for many, many years.
Yes.
So
Well, it was in your office for a while.
Yeah.
And when your office moved here, it's been on the dining room table.
Yeah, so I might move him to the mill for a permanent home. We're not sure yet, but that's
some of your bad taxidermy too.
Yeah.
We got to get back on that kick of buying bad taxidermy for at the mill.
There we go. To-do list. I do have that bird. I got a Jake's. It's actually hanging in my kitchen.
Yes, I hit my head on it the other day.
Kate's like, "Are you taking that to the mill or is it living here?" I'm like, "I haven't decided where the bird went." I always best friend. I'm like, "Let's ask the bird where he wants to live." And she's like,
"Don't you have a fox with like really big bug eyes?"
"Yeah, I got a bunch of weird stuff."
Old bad taxidermy.
Yeah, so
dude, we got to find a bear, like a full mounted bear.
They're expensive. They're actually.
If we find one cheap that's badly done, we should definitely buy it. That'd be great to put in the mill.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. So that's the kind of one-off obscure stuff. So it's going to be 50-50. I'm either going to buy stuff for like the Packard and customs that I want to build, or I'm just going to buy a bunch of random junk. I'm going to go the opposite way. Like when Winfield and I were walking around Hershey, and
he was buying telephones and
just randomness. It's like I can see where this happens. You got all the car stuff you need, so now you're just like, that's kind of neat. Let me buy that.
I had one of those phones when I was a kid. It's NOS in the box. Here's $5.
Yeah, $5 here. So that'll be partially me. I'll be walking around. So
you'll be walking around with Nate when he's a young adult. You'll be that crazy old man. Like, here.
Yeah, go get that from that guy. I like that. But so that's some of the plans. I originally, before I bought the mill this year, before I knew we were actually going to buy the mill, I was more heavily looking for a late 50s or 50s to early 70s Ford F-250 or Ford truck, and I wanted to make it for like a daily driver. Unfortunately, now with us having our focus change and money wise too, it's like I can't be buying some $15,000-$20,000 like cherry
pickup
truck, so I think that's not on my list. But if I find a super cherry one for $5,000, I might. Yeah. So
Moon's telling us it's time to finish.
Moon is telling us it's time to finish our podcast. So thank you guys for following along.
Yeah, if there's anything you're looking for, comment down below. Maybe we have it in our inventory, and I'll shoot you a message that we have it.
Or maybe somebody in the comments also has it and can help you out. But that's what we're looking for. Or if you have something that I mentioned that we're looking for, and you're going to be bringing it to Carlisle, or you can help us out, drop us a line. We would
I hope we get an email with a bad taxidermy bear.
Or any bad taxidermy.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be something kind of funny.
Oh, my God.
Thank you guys for following along. Moon's telling us it's time. We'll talk to you later. See ya.
See you guys.